What's up, stream?
Woo!
Hey everyone, how's everyone doing?
Welcome to Youth Online,
Welcome to
where
the
we put
stream.
you on
On the line.
On the
yeah.
parrot. Apologies for the delay,
parrot.
everyone. We were slightly held
Fire
up. Yeah, the parrot is really wanting the attention, isn't it? All
It's the only
right.
reason people watch this, bro.
Say again?
It's the only reason people tune in.
Because the parrot. Yeah, I reckon so. I reckon. Hey
I
boys,
have
how are you doing?
Done
How are you
on me,
doing today?
like,
Oh yeah,
Bro,
yeah.
I've never been better. I'm
Hey,
so
Miss-
good.
that's cool, man. Hamish, you're looking good, bro. Tell us what you're doing with the style.
well, it's not that deep, really. So I just I'm not cutting my hair.
Whoa.
Or my moustache, which isn't going too great.
Whoa,
And
that's cool,
then
man.
this just kind of happened today. I got out of the shower and put a hat on like this, and took it off.
Yeah.
And then this occurred. So I'm like,
Whoa.
all right, I guess that's what my head like today.
So your hair is just
Take
naturally stuck like that.
Notes.
Yeah, everyone take notes.
look,
Hamish, I
wait.
think you should write a book on how you do your hair. I think people would really appreciate that.
Yeah,
I think it'll be a very short book.
Yeah, like 2 pages long. Hey, Jibs,
Yeah.
I think Tom is saying you need to spit some bars because your mic's set up. Do you want to bring us
Yeah, you
anything?
should.
Yep, cool. I'm gonna spit some bars right now. Yo, listen. I think my mic's muted, guys.
Yeah, that
Oh,
was
no,
weird.
your mic muted.
Bro, that was...
Yeah,
That's such a
man, I don't-
shame. Your mic muted. We were really looking forward to that.
Yeah,
oh well,
sorry.
maybe next Friday.
It's funny
Maybe
how
next
that.
Friday.
Yeah, maybe.
I know.
If my mic doesn't mute again.
James, how are you, bro?
Yeah, doing good, mate. Doing good. It's been a long day, just doing bits of work and stuff. But yeah, man, it's been well. I've been just working from home, chilling out, really. Yeah. What about you?
Doing
been doing
quantum
much?
mechanics today.
Whoa, mate, you're so brainy.
Boring.
That's not boring. Hamish,
Everyone
can you?
comment boring.
No, Hamish. I want you to spend 10 seconds, like, proving to us why. Oh, I think I hit my mic. Sorry. 10 seconds why physics is fun.
Physics is fun because I learned how everything works.
That's a lie.
Okay,
All
that
right.
was less than 10
I
seconds.
learned how most things work.
I think
Most
you mean
things.
biology, but anyway.
Physics is better than that. Sorry, Jim.
Chicken and rice. That sounds good, man.
Yeah, I'm just reading the comments. Hamish, have you got the comments on your phone as well?
I actually don't.
Oh, that's
Hamish
okay.
doesn't need the comments. The comments need Hamish.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
that's
that's
a
the
fair
concept
shout.
that you guys struggle understanding.
Whatever that means, I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah.
I don't get what it means, but I think it sounds pretty cool, if you ask me.
Guys, put in the chat what the bit has been the best thing.
Josh
that's
said
happened.
physics is the best science. Josh, you know lying's a sin, right?
Wow.
To be fair, I think I
Which
quite
one
enjoy
would be better?
physics. Physics isn't too bad.
James,
What?
James, physics didn't enjoy you. I'm sorry.
Well, maybe
okay,
I
Jim.
enjoyed physics.
Why
sorry,
it's better.
bro.
Right? I learn about the biggest things and the smallest things and everything in between.
Whoa.
No, you don't,
He just
Right,
went
not
there.
everything in between, but a lot of things in between.
bro. You don't know nothing, fam.
You learn about balls, bro.
Whoa.
Bro,
What's it?
you don't even know how your own body works.
Well, I think some physics
How
does
do-
talk
bro,
about the body, doesn't
Hamish,
it?
Hamish, how do your kidneys work?
Can
Explain to me how-
do blood purifying.
What?
What?
I don't know.
But is that-
Well, they
Is-
kind of
is blood
doing it, but
purifying
like
physics?
how do they work?
Enzymes, I believe.
Enzymes.
Yeah.
Get off those trap.
Hamish,
Yeah,
you're going to
for
be removed from the call.
Chlorophyll.
You failed.
Chlorophyll.
All right.
Mitosis.
Jibs, how about this? How about you spend 10 seconds trying to sell us why biology is so good?
Forget 10 seconds, bro. I'll do it in 2.
Go on then.
Well,
You ready? I do it.
well, there you go.
That's all you need.
I think Hamish was a little bit confused. That was a bit too quick. That was less than 2 seconds.
Yeah, I don't know how to process.
It's all that
Right.
physics in his head, he can't think about it.
People in the chat,
whatever.
what's better, physics or biochemistry?
They said biology is way better, Anna said chemistry might beat it. I like chemistry too, Anna. Biology is better.
Yeah, what do you
Biology's
think's
better.
better?
Biology's better. Biology's better. The only person who said physics is Josh Revnall. And
Okay,
Josh
guys,
Revnall.
I'm back in physics as well, so count me in as
Josh.
well.
All right.
No, James, you don't count. Go away. Guys, Josh
All right, I'll close the
Revnall
call.
can't even handle plain chicken at Nando's.
Yeah.
Why would you value his opinion?
When do you people
Fair,
go
plain chicken's quite spicy.
grass? Has
What?
anyone ever gone grass grazing? No, they go stargazing. Right? Do people get telescopes to look at trees? No, they look at moon and stuff.
Bro, the human body is so beautifully and wonderfully made.
I agree.
Why don't you want to understand how it works? Say nothing. Okay, but when we put the pin in the discussion, can biology or physics explain how that one works? Because in my opinion, I think biology would explain. But anyway, we can talk about this after the stream.
Whoa!
Yeah, James. Well, I feel like
What's the
you need
momentum?
to go away.
Yep. Yep. We had the Bake Off challenge.
I think it was called the cooking challenge, but
Oh, well, I think Bake Off challenge. We should have called it that.
I just
We have the
realised-
challenge. Whoever can make best thing wins a special prize, which we will now reveal the winner. Drum roll, please.
Boom.
right, James. Apparently they can't hear you.
Yeah, no, I just realised my mic was muted. All right, I'm back now. Anyway, yeah, so we are going to announce the winner of the, well, what Hamish called the bake-off, we call it the cook-off. I know, I had 50 people tell me my mic wasn't working. I'm really sorry, everyone. Please forgive me. Blame physics for that. Anyway, so the cooking competition, well done for everyone who sent in their things they cooked and baked. We had stuff from cakes to jams to pancakes. I just realized I didn't even get around to posting. I made pizza this week. Hamish, you'll be proud of me, bro. I actually made
luck.
pizza. I made a full on
I
pizza.
made a pizza. He put a frozen pizza in the oven.
No.
Yeah, that doesn't count.
It's the real deal. I'm gonna get you a picture because I actually think
Right.
that it's one of
What
the
did
things
you
I've ever
do?
made.
Did you have pre-made dough?
No. I made it from scratch. Like I had flour, had yeast, water, salt, oil, all the things. I'll show you. Well, I mean, you guys can't see in the video. Oh yeah, that's a photo of me making the pizza, Jibs. That's the flour in my cup. But people in the chat,
goes off.
this I don't know if you can see that very well. This is the pizza that I made. People in the chat, could people just respond in the chat and tell me out of 10 what they think about my pizza? Because I feel pretty proud about it. Although I feel like some people are going to knock me. So tell me what you think in the chat. I'm just going to join the chat again. All right, some people say, give me some love because these boys are like beating me up saying that I didn't properly make a pizza. Jess, I saw the
bro,
whole process
you-
on a video call and he is actually telling the truth. Boom, there you go, bro.
Wow, there we
Wow.
go.
Yeah.
Music just
Well, I
dropped.
still disagree. How about that?
What do you mean, bro? Jibs, did you see the
I'm
photo?
joking. Alright, I saw.
No.
No, I haven't.
But I did
my
not receive a
thing's
portion
buffering.
this time. I know, unlucky Jess. Anyway, sorry. Going back to competition. So we had lots of people put in a lot of entries.
Okay, people are saying 10 out of 10. Okay, I agree. Your pizza's good, James. I'm sorry for doubting you.
I would say it's an 11 out of 10, but that's just me. Maybe that's a little bit too prideful. But no, it wasn't
not
11 out of 10. Well, it is possible. 'cause
Physically, that's not possible.
yeah, physically it's not possible. Biologically it is possible, bro. Suck it up.
A lot of the things physics can't explain, Hamish. Anyway.
All right, enough of the beef boy. Who's the winner of the Bake
Anyway,
Off?
so here it is. We struggled to decide one winner, so actually we decided two winners because there were two amazing people. All right, we'll get back to the drummer. Drummer, please, for our two winners, Jibs. Our professional drummer, please. Our two winners
yeah.
are Maisie and Abby Clay. Maisie McKenna, Abby Clay. Make some noise in the chat. They did some amazing stuff.
Yeah.
We're going to repost some things they did after the stream. They did amazing things. And you girls have both won an Amazon voucher each. Boom. There you have it.
Nice.
The possibilities are endless. You could buy
Have
more
to
cooking
give it
stuff.
back to us. No,
Well,
you
no,
don't.
we give you an Amazon voucher, then you got to spend it on like Me, Jibs, and Hamish. I think that's in like the small
Yeah,
print
you
at
have
the
to
bottom.
buy us stuff.
Yeah, you gotta
I
buy
think
stuff and send it to us. I think that's pretty fair. No, we're just kidding. I'm just kidding. Both you guys, we're gonna contact
I
you
wasn't.
and send you an Amazon voucher. Yeah, with Jibs, you don't matter. Whatever. Anyway, moving on. I think we're running a little bit behind. Jibs, I think it's time we randomly call up someone. What do you reckon?
I think that's a great idea.
I think we should just randomly choose someone in the chat, someone who we haven't heard from on the stream or so far.
Who wants to be called?
Yeah,
I want to
give us
see
a
some
shout if you want to be
calling
called.
emojis.
Yeah, give us some phone emojis. Give us some whatever emojis, letting us know that you're keen to be called up. Make some noise in the chat.
Is it gonna be?
Let's see. Let's see who's
Wow.
going to put in the chat.
Right.
Sam.
Whoa. Sam Clark.
Who else?
Okay,
Put
we're
some
now
emojis in
nominating people.
Francisco.
Wait, so yeah, Ben saying Sam saying Francisco. Your parrot is meowing again. Man, I think you should buy.
You know,
like
just to let you guys know, my parrot has a condition and he identifies as a cat, so leave him alone.
I think you should buy him like a little parrot outfit of a cat. I think that'd be amazing. Anyway, Jibs, do you want to call someone up and let's have a little quick chat with them, see how they're doing.
Let's hope this person answers.
Who is it?
Yeah,
Oh, no.
we have no idea who you're going to call up, so it's a complete surprise for us.
Can you guys hear the phone ringing?
Yeah, we can hear you, bro.
This person might not pick up.
Well, we shall see. I have no idea who it's going to be.
Yo, bro, are you skating?
Yeah, man.
Wait,
Alright,
who
stop
is
skating
that?
for a second. Yo, you're on the stream, bro. Say well gone.
Oh, God.
Oh, it's the
Yeah.
one and only Francisco. What a
Yo,
legend.
boys, he can't hear you, innit? Only.
Oh,
he can
tell him
only
that
hear
we
me.
said hi. Tell him Hamish and James says hi.
Say something to the guys on the stream. James and Hamish say hi.
Yo, I wish all of you the best. Hope you've had a good week.
Ah,
What a legend.
Yeah, more to come.
we love
How
you,
can
bro.
you encourage any of the youth of stuff to do during quarantine?
Just don't be lazy. Don't sit on your bum all day. Just does
Oh.
nothing. Learn
Ooh.
something and pick up from that. And teach other people after when quarantine's over.
Bro, and how have you been
Wow.
during quarantine? What have you been
Massive
up to?
meetup.
Just been baking bread, skating.
Baking bread and skating. Awesome, bro.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
Alright, cool.
What a
I'll see you
legend.
in a bit.
We love
Yeah,
you, Francisco.
say hi.
We'll do. Bye bye.
In a bit. Bye.
What a
Oh, dude,
legend.
love that guy.
What an actor champion. If you don't know Francisco, get to know him. He's a very cool dude. You definitely want to have him as a friend. I think that's pretty fair to say.
You do.
Amazing.
Hamish is kind of copying Francisco's trim right now.
Yeah, that's true. We got the
Yeah,
curtains.
seriously,
Curtains, is it called?
you inspired me, bro.
Boom. There you go. Do you call them curtains, Hamish?
Dude, I haven't had them long enough to. I don't know what. What are they? What is that? What is that?
I feel like that's curtains. What do you think, Jibs?
Yes.
Wow. What a,
Might find one answer.
what a long, dramatic reply. All right, cool. Hey, that was cool hearing from
Guys,
Francisco.
I have an idea.
Go on,
Quote by
bro.
Francisco. Don't be lazy. Get off your bum.
Whoa. All right, more on that later.
Guys, I have an announcement to make.
Go for it, bro.
It's game time.
Hey.
What?
Welcome to
Fire
the
background.
game. Right, guys.
Boom. I like
Here's
game
my
time.
idea
Go on,
for
bro.
this week's game. I call it. I call it the song game.
The song game.
Whoa, I've never heard that
I
before.
really tried to think of a creative
Such
name,
a creative
but
name.
I just couldn't
That's a very creative
think
name.
of much more.
I think it's a great name, bro.
I like the song game.
Anyway, so the way this game is going to work is that each of us, so you have to think quickly, we're going to think of a song which is well known. We're then going to hum such said song, or whatever you say. Said song, such song?
Whoa.
I don't know. You're going to hum or whistle the song, and then live stream, everyone on the stream has to guess the song, and
Sick.
then we'll find a winner, and then we'll go from there.
This sounds fun, man. Let's do it.
I
Alright.
like that. Let's go for it.
Outside of you, I would like to nominate James Curd for the first song.
Oh no.
Do it.
All right.
Can we guess as well?
No. Stream guesses
No.
first. If they can't get it, then it goes to us.
Awesome.
Wait, did you say 3 guesses? People can only guess 3 times.
Oh no,
No,
no guesses.
he said stream guesses.
Oh, stream. I said 3 guesses. I was gonna say. All right, here we go. I might start off with an easy one. Is that all right? Just to warm up the people at home.
Do it.
All right. By the way, can I just say, shout out to Daniel, who's in my group, Simon and I's group. He just said, when he said game time, he said 1v1 on Overwatch. Don't worry, Hamish is going to log on to Overwatch later. Aren't you, Hamish?
What's that?
It's a game. I'm just kidding. You have
Oh, it's
no
the
idea
one with
what it is.
animations, isn't it?
I think they all have a lot of animations. All right. Anyway,
It's like
game time.
Fortnite.
All right. Shall I make this beat for you guys?
Round
Do it.
1.
All right. So if I got to hum, yeah, I've got to hum the song.
Or whistle. Whatever you.
Or whistle. All right, let me just kill the music real quick, just so we can get a proper. All right, you boys ready for
Very
this?
violent word, James.
I'm.
We are ready, Jameson.
I'm sorry, keep PG. All right, here we go.
Barbie girl.
That was beat. Real love. National anthem.
Alive. 50 Cent in the club.
All right, I think they got it. Who was the first best to say it? Have you guys got it?
Yeah, obviously it was Twinkle Twinkle.
No, bro, it wasn't that easy, was it? Well, who was
I
the
think
first
Esther was the
person?
first person to get it.
Yeah,
Esther.
she put Twinkle. I don't. That's not quite the full name. Does that count?
Is it, I thought it was Baba Black Sheep.
No,
What?
No,
No,
it was
that-
definitely Twinkle Twinkle.
Wasn't that, bro? All
Isn't
right.
the guy
Okay.
Ba- ba-
So Esther was the first person to say Twinkle, but Josh Revner was the first person to say the full title.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe
Maybe.
the wins. Come on, no half titles. Anyone can say Twinkle.
Come on, Esther. We want the full
Twinkle's
thing.
like in most songs anyway. So
Exactly.
Yeah, that's true. Every song.
Alright.
All right. Who's up
I would
next?
like to go next.
All right. Go for it, bro. We're ready. Smash it. Ooh. I reckon it's the BBC News intro thing.
sounds like Teletubbies to me.
Guesses. This is one for you guys that watched TV when you were younger. I don't know. Do people even watch TV anymore?
Oh, I think
not.
we have. I think we have some winners. Wait, Josh Revenor, you can't be winning all of it, bro.
I mean,
Josh Revenor got it
reckon-
first. All right, Josh Revenor
You
had
get
it. I think. Let me mix in some beats with us.
what did he say?
All right, so Josh Revenor got first place. Tom Denon, I want James Curd ASMR to hum that to fall asleep to. What? Oh, what is ASMR?
You know what ASMR
that,
is, James?
It's like that kind of like real intense microphone recording, isn't it?
Yep,
What does it stand?
it's
What does it
very
stand
weird.
for? I don't know what it stands for.
It's when you like eat your food
Yeah.
in a mic.
It's like, wait, have I got anything
That
to
was
do
the
with it?
Simpsons for those who used
Shall
to.
I play with my pen? Can you hear my pen? Is this ASMR? That's probably really loud.
No.
No? Okay. That's a fail. Anyway, moving on with our lives.
Yeah, what's that, bro?
All right, yeah. Cheers, your
I
turn.
actually have no idea what to do. I'm gonna just go through my Spotify and pick a song. 1 second.
For those of you who don't know, Jibs listens to a lot of random music, which probably none of us will.
A lot of random
Okay, no, I
stuff.
do want everyone to know. Okay, I'm gonna do this one. Okay.
All right, ready.
I'll just go again. Okay.
Oh, let me
It goes,
fade you down. What the heck?
Let's see if anyone gets that one.
I've no idea.
Ed Sheeran.
It wasn't educated.
Sugar Babe.
Michael Jackson?
No. Jess got it.
Michael
Amy got it.
Bublé.
Josh got it.
Wait, who got
Everyone
it
got it.
first? Who got it first?
I think Jess. Yeah, Jess.
I was just playing. Was it Yummy?
Yeah.
Yummy. Oh, yummy. Wait, can you sing a little bit for us, Jibs?
Yep, sure. Sorry, guys. My mic muted.
It's
Wow,
weird
that sounded beautiful. The like half second that we heard from it. Okay, pause for a second. I think I've just been sent some evidence. Esther did win. Just for clarity, we want to make it fair. Esther did win the first one. It's confirmed here first. Sorry, Josh, you've been stripped of your winner's rights. Esther did win that first one. Sorry, I just want to bring justice to this thing.
Good.
Boom. There
Well
you go.
played, Esther. Great baking or cooking, whatever it was.
Should we do another round real quick?
We should definitely do another round of this.
Send
I
it,
don't-
James.
Fun.
I don't know what to do though. Hey Mitch, can you go first? If you got something, then I can think up
I'm
something.
not ready. I haven't had any time to think.
Okay. Let me think.
Oh, wait, I got one.
All right, go
Go
for
on,
it.
hit
We're
me.
ready.
Wait, I can't whistle when I'm laughing.
Come on, you can do
So
this.
I
Bro.
have to get in the zone. Every time
Concentrate.
I want to get in the zone, it's way harder to get in the zone. I can't do it. I'm gonna hum it.
Oh, classic.
You know the one?
I know
I
the
don't actually
tune.
know
I
what
don't know
it's
the
called.
name.
I know
Yeah,
it's a
I
song.
don't know what it's called. Endure the pain. Is that what it's called?
I can whistle now.
It's easy when you whistle it. Ah, Josh Revnall is on it tonight. Great Escape, apparently. I think that's what it is.
That's the one. Good
That's
work.
the one. Josh
Never heard that in
Revnall.
my life.
Do you reckon Josh Revnall is like somehow Shazamming us humming these beats? Do you reckon that would work?
Probably.
I think Josh Revenant works in Shazam. Like when you do the thing, it's just Josh listening to it in his headphones. It just tells you what the song is.
Josh Revnall is Shazam. All right, okay. I think
like
that's enough, boys. I think
billions
that's
of-
enough. All right, I think we should move on, boys. I think we've had enough.
Yeah.
I didn't think
So
my
guys.
voice was that bad, boys. Come on, chill out.
I mean,
No, your
yeah,
voice is just so good that me and James can't
yeah,
compete.
Oh,
we
yeah.
can't beat it. We can't compete against it. All right, we're gonna move on. Hey, we've got a little surprise for you guys tonight. We have a little video that we have made that we want to play. Any guesses who is in this video, real quick, just while we cue it up and get it ready to play? Have you guys got any guesses?
Could it,
No, it's
by
not
any
you.
chance, be like maybe Ben and Amy? I don't know. Like,
Bro,
it's so weird that it's almost like we actually know this stuff before. I don't
James,
know.
you're not
You
actually meant to
mentioned it last
guess who
time.
it is. You're meant to guess like random people.
How?
You're meant to like guess random people. You're not meant to give it away straight away.
Come on, bro.
I did
Come on,
guess for
bro.
random people. They're two random people. I don't know. I don't know if that's what it is or not, bro. We don't plan these things out before.
All right, whatever. All right, okay, I'm going to play the video. I think you guys might have to mute while I play the video. Otherwise, we're going to hear you like going crazy or whatever. All right, so if you guys mute, we're going to hand it over to the amazing Ben and Amy. Let's pray this works.
Come on.
Hey,
Hey.
how are we doing, Verve Youth? We're good? We're just out on our walk, taking it all in. Hope you're doing really good. Hope you're enjoying the stream. First question. James sent us some questions. How are we enjoying the lockdown so far? We're enjoying it.
Yeah.
In one sense, it's different, it's odd, it's a bit weird, but we're doing well. We're getting out, we're exercising, working from home.
Yeah.
Thinking about you guys, missing you guys. But yeah, it's going well. What are we getting up to?
We're cooking. We're
Cooking, baking. Amy's making amazing muffins, banana muffins.
Oh, good.
Love seeing what you guys will be making this week. Been
Yes.
so good. We've been very hungry watching the stream. You guys are amazing cooks.
Our neighbour did give us dinner the other night, though.
They did. Exchange food with your neighbours, you get great food in return.
Yes.
So we've been doing that, reading, watching TV,
Yep.
hopefully not too much, playing music, doing live streams,
Making
Friday
silly
nights,
videos.
making silly videos, watching cats out the back window,
Yeah.
watching the seagulls, they're loving life in the spring. That kind of stuff, really, all the usual. What are we looking forward to when this is all done?
Being able to hug our friends again.
Hug our friends. Hug our friends
and
would be really
see
fun.
them.
See the friends, hug the friends. It's gonna be great just going to cafes,
Yeah.
having tea, cake, coffee,
ice cream.
down on the seafront, sitting on the beach,
Yeah.
chilling, all that kind of stuff. Missing all of you as well, though, so can't wait to see you.
Oh,
Whoa, was that
fly.
hoverfly attack? It's dangerous out here on the daily walk. But yeah, we can't wait. Guys, we're in the middle of this, but we're right here with you. Just want to let you know we're thinking about you, we're praying for you. Stay connected in your groups. Stay connected on the live stream. We're going to come through this stronger. That's what we really believe. We really believe God's got great things for us in this season. And yeah, so back to you guys on the stream. We love you. We'll see you soon.
Bye.
I'm a bit out of breath after that.
Me too.
Yo. Boom. What legends. Hey, make some noise in the chat for Ben and Amy. We absolutely love Ben and Amy, our youth and young adult pastors. Massive shout out. They're absolute legends. Just give them a lot of love in the chat. Make some fire and explosion emojis. We sound so out of breath. That hill was a killer. That's okay, Amy. That's okay. We feel you. We know what it's like. Yeah, it looked beautiful. You guys are amazing. You guys are awesome. Oh, dang it. I've done it again. All right, you guys are unmuted now. Oh my gosh. I think I need to be fired. People can hear you now. Anyway, Ben and Amy, you sounded amazing. Jibs and Hamish, you can give your responses again now.
Yeah, we love you, Ben and Amy.
I cheered a lot and clapped a lot and said that you guys are amazing.
Yeah.
And,
They did. I promise they did.
Really beautiful. I wonder where you guys are.
I did clap as well.
Yeah, he did clap. I heard a lot of noise from these boys. I can back them up. It was true. But hey, we love Ben and Amy. They're absolute legends. And we miss them too.
Amy said she's carrying another person. That's very true.
Yes, that's true.
Fun.
Amy is, I don't know how many weeks pregnant, but Amy is pregnant. Like, how amazing is that? They are bearing child, I believe, due in June. Is that right?
I believe
I'm really sorry
I
if I'm
can't
wrong,
believe-
guys.
Baby
To have a
Lewis.
person in you. That's literally insane.
Hamish, no, that is.
Biology.
No.
Biology.
I was just gonna say that. Well, biology
Is it
just
insane,
blows your
bro?
mind.
It is
You didn't say, "Oh, I can't believe the velocity of the hill that they were walking up." No, didn't say that, did you?
All right, fine. I was trying to leave me alone.
Yeah, leave me alone. That's fine. That's fine. Yes, I just got a text. They are due in June. Due in June. That's quite a cool saying. Hashtag due in June. Everyone just do a quick hashtag due in June. But yes, congratulations, Ben and Amy. You guys are absolute legends, and we love you. And we miss you. And we miss not being able to meet together. And that's kind of part of what I want to kind of bring today and just kind of chat about today. I'm just going to bring the music a touch down because I can hear it in my ears and it's really distracting. But obviously it's things just haven't been quite the same, have they? Like, we haven't been able to hang out together, meet together. I don't know about you guys, but I've found it quite tough. I'm quite an extrovert, so I love hanging around people. And so it's just been quite tough not being able to actually meet in person with people, hang out, just do amazing things together. But that's kind of part of what I want to kind of just bring today real quick, just for the next kind of few minutes. I did title this just because I was just writing down notes. So should you want to take mental or physical notes, I've literally just named this Such a Time as This. Whoa,
I'm ready.
Hamish is writing down notes. Hamish, write down Such a Time as This. You can be my scribe. Oh no, don't write down what I say because I might say some bad stuff. No, I won't. But yeah, Such a Time as This. Obviously, okay, he's written down Such a Time as This. 10 out of 10 for your writing skills. Obviously, we're in such a crazy time at the moment, and I keep thinking, like, I feel like every generation has a big kind of defining event that happens sometime in their lifetime. And I think for us, let's really hope nothing bigger than this ever happens again. But like, I really think there's such a big and defining moment in our lives for this generation, for all of us. Like, I think going out of COVID-19, it's hard to kind of imagine what the world will be like what kind of stuff will be different than before this kind of exploded. And sometimes that can be a bit worrying, but I think at the same time, actually, I think it's a cool time to be in, because it's so different from what we're used to. I think sometimes it's a little bit dangerous when we get used to, everything that's going on, a bit too comfortable, and we don't tend to step out and, take risks and do different stuff. I just got written down here, Romans 8:28, and you can look it up later, but basically Romans 8:28 just says that God uses all things for good. Like, it doesn't matter how good or how bad they are, God has the amazing ability to turn these things around and actually use them for his good, to bring glory to his name, and to help us be better people, be better sons and daughters of God. And I think especially in this time with COVID-19, it's so easy to look at the negatives. It's so easy to look at the bad things that are going on. And it's so easy to look at the news and if you read the paper, I don't know who does, but look into the news, look into the newspapers. There's just so much stuff going on. Like, it's so hard to get away from all of this stuff that's going on. It can be overwhelming in a bad way, but actually I really believe that we have an opportunity to turn all this bad stuff into good stuff. Like, God has this opportunity in front of us, that we've got in front of us, that we can give to God and allow him to turn all these negatives into positives in our lives. And one thing that I wrote down is, and you might hear it a lot from other people, other Christians, is that I think it's such a good opportunity for us, that in this season, God doesn't want us just to survive. He doesn't want us just to make it through this season, just be okay. But actually, God wants us to thrive. Like, he doesn't want us to survive. He wants us to thrive. Like, he actually wants to turn this bad stuff into good stuff. He wants to grow us and make us bigger people. He wants to use us for amazing things. And I think this is such a good season to allow God to do that in us. Obviously, I don't believe God brought this season upon us. I don't believe that he brought COVID-19 into the world on purpose. But I do believe, and we do believe as Christians, that actually God can turn this bad stuff into good stuff. Like, he has the ability, this amazing ability to do that. And I think in that, with us thriving this season, I think what that looks like, God wants to use us in this season. Like, he wants to use us to do amazing things. Like, a common thing we always say in church, or in Christian communities, is that, God's got a plan for our lives. Like, he wants us to live our best life, which is a very kind of common phrase, a very kind of, thing people say a lot. But it's so true. God has amazing plans for our lives. He has amazing opportunities, amazing things, opportunities, jobs, families, relationships, like such amazing things in our lives, which he wants to give to us. But sometimes actually we need to do something in order to reach that. We need to do something in order to step in that direction. And I think that's where this thriving comes into place, that in the season, I just really want to challenge us that it's not a season of sitting around, like what Francisco said earlier, that let's not be lazy in this season. Let's not just sit around and do nothing. Let's not just binge watch on Netflix, but actually let's do something productive in the season. Let's actually pursue God, and let's actually say, hey God, I don't just want to just survive in the season, but actually I want to thrive in the season. I want to be used by you, God, to influence the people around me, influence people in my family, influence my friends, people in the streets. Like, we still have ability to influence anyone around us. So that's really what I just wanted to bring today, is that actually such a time as this, like this, I feel like is a one in a lifetime opportunity for us to step up as Christians. And I don't know whether you call yourself a Christian or not, but I really believe that God has amazing things for your life. And in order to do this, you just got to trust him. You just say, God, actually, I want to step into these amazing things that you have for me. And in order to do that, he wants us to thrive. He wants us to step towards him. So that's kind of what I wanted to bring today, and really want to challenge us, is let's not just be lazy. Like, we can still enjoy life. We can still watch Netflix. We can still game and do online shopping or whatever you're doing, or baking, cooking. But at the same time, actually, God still wants to use us to help the people around us, to help our friends and our family and people in the streets, our neighbors, whoever it is, people from school. Like, God wants us to message them and be a light in their darkness. So that's kind of where I want to land today. I thought it'd be a really cool thing to do, maybe a slightly interactive response. I know if you've been in church for a while, you'll kind of know the whole run through of a service. You know, okay, this is the time in the service where there's an altar call. I just wanted to do a little kind of interactive thing tonight, going on from this idea of such a time as this, that God wants us to thrive, not just survive. And if that's you tonight, if you're saying, yes, I want God to use me, I want to thrive in the season, I don't want to just survive, but actually I want to thrive, I want God to use me for amazing things, then right now in the chat, I want you just to simply message in the chat saying, use me. And all that is doing is, I feel like it's a kind of a physical response to saying, God, I want you to use me in the season. I don't just want to survive, I want to thrive in the season. So if that's you right now, just message in the chat saying, use me. And yeah, we're just going to pray in a second. We're going to pray for God's help in the season for us. So if that's you tonight, if you're saying, yes, I don't want to just survive in this season, I want to thrive, I want God to use me, I want God to use me to influence my family, my friends, everyone around me, then just go ahead right now in the chat. And we've got a load of people right now messaging us, which is amazing. I really believe God is going to use us in this season. It's not just a season of darkness and negativity, but actually I really believe God is really going to turn things around, and he's going to use us for such amazing things. And all it takes, I believe all it takes is for us to say, God, use me. All it takes is for us just to say to God, to ask him to use us. It's amazing the response in the chat that we're getting. Amen to everyone saying, use me. I would message it, but I'm chatting at the moment. But yes, that's amazing. Keep messaging, use me. And I just think it'd be really cool if we just pray right now. And I'm going to do this prayer and I'm going to say it line by line. And I don't know where you are at the moment. You might be at home or you might be wherever. You could be around your family, friends, whatever. And I'm just going to say this prayer. And I think it'd be really cool if we could just repeat it after me, not in a weird way of repeating me just for the sake of it, but actually I believe as we say this, it makes it our own prayer. It's like we're declaring with our mouth, and I think there's power in that. So we're just going to say this prayer line by line, and wherever you are, if you can say it out loud, then do it. If not, then just say it in your head. That's all good. That's all fine. But feel free just to close your eyes, bow your heads, wherever you are. I don't know where you are, but let's just do this together. So just repeat after me. Dear Father, thank you that you love me. Thank you that you care for me. Thank you that you've got amazing plans and amazing opportunities for my life. And I pray in the season that it's not a season of surviving, but it's a season of thriving. And I just ask you, God, use me in whatever way you want to use me. Help empower me. Give me strength. Give me grace. And give me love. I love you, Jesus. Amen. Amen. Hey, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Thank you for your responses in the chat. It really has been amazing seeing all of you guys saying, use me. I really do think this is such a unique opportunity in our lifetimes to really step it up and really say, God, use me in this dark and scary season. I'm going to step up. I'm going to go against the crowd, go against the grain. And I'm going to try to be the light in the darkness that our world so needs at the moment. Amen to that. Hey, moving on real quick, just before we end it up, we think it's so important to stay connected in this season. So just real quick, Jibs, how about you tell us a few ways that we can still stay connected from our homes?
3 ways.
Yes, that's it.
So we can stay connected. Not 1, not 2. Okay, 3 ways. Listen, first way, you have to join a group. If you're not in a group right now, I don't know what you're doing with your life. Join a group.
Tell him.
Or Hamish will kill you. Hamish
Whoa.
actually has a shotgun in his house, boys.
Wow.
So if you
Okay.
don't join a group, he will
I think
kill
someone's going to report him.
Yeah.
All right. Anyway,
you. Oh
so
yeah, I
join
take
a
it back.
group.
He doesn't have. Anyway, first one, join a group.
Let's rewind.
Second way,
Cut
follow
that.
Verve Youth on Instagram.
Follow.
The best Instagram page going. We need to
Boom.
get to 1 million followers by the end of this week. So follow us. Let's do that. And the third
Wow.
way is the church website. Church website is also the best website in the world. So
Boom.
join a group.
Fire emoji.
Follow us on Instagram. Go on the church website. We have church online Sunday morning, and we also have a special church thing happening. James, what is it?
Whoa, thank you for setting me up, bro. We are so excited to be launching a new way of staying connected, a new way of doing church, and that is, drumroll please. Wait, Jibs is drinking. Drumroll please. We're excited to announce Church Online Youth Edition. Woo! Coming to you live this Sunday, 4 o'clock. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Everyone's going to be there. Make sure you tell your friends, tell your people, tell your crews, wherever you are. Tell your dogs. I think dogs can join.
She's going to be there.
What's it going to be, bro?
She's going to be at Church Online.
So
give us a little bit.
A little bit? What do you mean a little bit?
What is it going to be?
Well, so we're going to join in at 4 o'clock on the dot, 4 p.m., not a.m., for the crazy people who stay up that early in the morning, Jonathan. 4 p.m. We're going to be live here on YouTube, where you are right now. Make sure you are subscribed. Hit the little bell icon. It's to the right. If I think it's down there. Somewhere there.
Which way, bro?
I think it's down. Click subscribe. Click the bell, wherever it is. I don't know where it is. You can figure it out. But yeah, Church Online Youth Edition, 4 o'clock here on YouTube. We're going to be going live. We're going to be hanging out. And we're going to be in church. Like, I don't know about you guys. I've missed being at church. I've missed doing church, having worship, messages, all that kind of stuff. So we're going to be hanging out. It's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure you join us this Sunday, 4 o'clock. Also, make sure you spread the word and tell your friends. Like, you know, we want to be able to share this experience with other people. So it's going to be a lot of fun this Sunday, 4 o'clock. Boys, it's been amazing hanging out tonight. I've had a lot of fun. I hope you have too.
It has been so good.
It's been quite a vibe. And yeah, make sure you hang out afterwards. If you're in a group, or if you have a dog, I don't know. If you're in a group, make sure you hang out with your group. Do a voice message. Do a video call. Do a house party hangout. Jump on Discord if you have Discord. Unfortunately, Daniel, I think, was asking. I haven't set up Discord yet, but we will eventually set it up. But yeah, make sure you hang out, stick around. And yeah, we shall see you what time, boys, on Sunday?
4 p.m.
4
Not
to the
AM.
P to the M. Or hey, if you're up early enough on a Sunday morning, 10 a.m., we do have church online. So if you're up that early, if you're an early bird, we are looking at you. I don't know who I was going to say. Someone.
Jonathan.
Jonathan Wesley. Is he up at 10 a.m.?
No, I was going to say me, but okay.
Oh, you. How about both of you? 2 Jonathans for the price of 1. Anyway, if you're up early, 10 o'clock. If not, we shall see you later on Sunday.
And the one price is the blood of Jesus, but anyway.
Whoa.
Let me hear you say explosion background.
Yeah, give some explosion emojis right now. All right, hey. That is magical. All right, boys, I think we should wrap it up there. We're a little bit late, so apologies for the late finish. Make sure you stick around, hang out in your groups, and we shall see you on Sunday. All right.
Peace.
Love you guys.
Peace out, everyone. We love you all, guys. See you soon. And transition, wherever the transition button is. Transition.